Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant Full Court Press, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Shomont. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. We got some big news with the Miami Heat. As you know, I'm a Miami Heat fan. The Miami Heat have largely been completely quiet for the free agency market. They failed to do anything of substance over the last really couple of years when it comes to bringing in new players. But they did make a trade today, a trade that in theory, is a good trade for the Miami Heat. It didn't really cost them much of anything. When you look at it, there's a three-team trade that brings Norman Powell to the Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat sent out Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 second round pick from the Clippers went to the Jazz, and John Collins went to the Clippers. So let's see. So it says the Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a trade that sends Norman Powell to Miami, John Collins to LA, and Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second round pick to the Jazz. Sources tell ESPN. Norman Powell is coming off the best season of his career with the LA Clippers, and after the departure of Paul George, he had a really strong season, and it was a situation of addition by subtraction when they got rid of Paul George. Well, Powell finished the season with 21.8 points, 48.4% shooting, 42% from three. Solid player, always a player that when the Miami Heat seemed to play him, I felt that he gave the Heat fits constantly, and it was really always something difficult to play against with Norman Powell. He was that guy, especially when he was with Toronto. He would always, and I'll say us because I'm a Heat fan, he would always give us fits. Now, this is the best season of his career. And by far, really. However, it's an 82 game season. He only played 60 games. He historically misses games. Now, obviously, earlier in his career, maybe he had some DMPs, but he historically misses games. So, the Miami Heat making this deal, while it didn't cost them a whole lot, I think the overreaction, in fact, from different Miami Heat websites that I've seen today. First off, refer to Norman Powell as a superstar. I'm sorry, like that's just not the case. He's not a superstar. He's a good player. He's a higher level role player, but acting like he's a superstar is utterly crazy. I saw an article where what's his name? Where did it go? Zach Lowe called the Heat's recent acquisition of Norman Powell an absolute home run. Uh, I mean, it's a good deal for the Heat. It's the first good deal the Heat have made, but let's ask ourselves, what does Norman Powell bring to the Miami Heat? So Norman Powell is a shooter. He's a shooter. He's a scorer. More of a shooter than a scorer, though, because there are seasons where I mean he is a consistent 40% guy from three. So that's obviously a big thing. The Heat traded Duncan or let go of Duncan Robinson, so they do need some shooting. Um, but they still don't have a point guard. Like we can talk about this all day. Without a point guard, the Miami Heat is going to be a 500 team realistically. This is a team that's going to overpay to keep Tyler Hero. This is a team that's already overpaying for Bam Adebayo. And now Norman Powell is what is he? Is he a starter? Is he a backup? Does he come off the bench? I don't know what the plan is because he's currently on a 5 year, $90 million deal, and he becomes an unrestricted free agent next season. So not this year coming up that he's going to be available. He'd be making 20.4 million, but an unrestricted free agent next season. Are you going to drop another 5 year, $250 million to keep Norman Powell? Like these are the things that you have to consider. And look, I get it. The Heat got to make some moves. And on its face, this is not a bad move. It's a good move actually. It gives them some more weapons on offense. But I'm looking at it from the vantage point of he's a 1 year player. And if you want to resign him, how much is it going to cost you? Because you're about to pay Tyler Hero, who's probably a better version of Norman Powell, 250 mil. Uh, that's what I mean. Tyler Hero is currently on a 4-year, $120 million deal. Where he becomes a free agent after next season, but they're gonna give him an extension. It's funny to me. Bobby Marks expects Tyler Hero on a 3-year, $149.7 million extension. And the question, Tom, is it feels pricey now, but in 2 years it likely won't. Well, that's because the salaries in the NBA are out of control. But paying $50 million a year for a player like Tyler Hero to me is criminal. It's criminal. Like he had a good year last year, but this dude's not a point guard. Are you really going to rely on Davion Mitchell to be your starting point guard another season? And this is where I have a problem with the Miami Heat's decision making. Kel'el Ware is here, thankfully. I'm glad they didn't make the deal for Kevin Durant, to be honest. If it required giving up Kel'el Ware, I would never have done it. But and I also have my thoughts on Kevin Durant's mental capacity. But Bam Adebayo is largely a massive disappointment. He regressed last year, big time, and he's making $55 million a year. He signed a 3-year, $165 million extension, and he's not going to be a free agent until 29-30. He has a player option in 28-29 for $59.2 million. I mean, and this is what you're paying for, and you're paying for this for a guy who averaged 18, 10, 4 on 49% and 36% from three. That might be the going rate, but it's a horrible rate. And Bam Adebayo regressed last season because the year before that, he averaged 19-3, almost 10 and a half, 4 assists on 52% shooting and the same 36% from three. The year before that, he averaged 20.4, 9 boards, 3 assists on 54% shooting. His shooting percentage has largely gone down over the last 5 years. If you go back to 2021, he shot 57% from the field, almost 19 points per game, 9 boards. The year after, 56%, 19 and 10. The year after, 54%, 20 and 9. The year after, 19.3, 52%. So as he's gotten to be more a part of the offense and more involved in, and I'm not saying he wasn't involved in the offense then because he clearly was averaging close to 20 points a game, but as he became as they expected more of him and needed more from him, his efficiency is dropping. His efficiency is dropping to where his field goal percentage has dropped almost 10% from the age 23 to age 27. It's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to, in fact, be the opposite. You're supposed to become more efficient as you become more experienced in the NBA, where it's gone the opposite direction for Bam Adebayo. And you're paying him a freaking fortune. So you're going to roll out a lineup now of Tyler Hero, Bam, Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Kel'el Ware, and who else? Who else? It's not some roster that I'm going to sit here and say, "Oh my God!" No, this is a 500 team still. This is still a 500 team. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I left out Andrew Wiggins. And Andrew Wiggins, I think, is completely not not very good. And I think they're looking to deal him too. They're looking to deal him too. So yeah, not a trade that I think it gives people the appearance that they're trying to do stuff, but is it reality that it makes a difference for this roster? No. This team is still void of an actual star. This team is still void of an actual number one option. You're not going to win with Tyler Hero as your best player or Bam Adebayo as your best player. This is not to be offensive to them. This is just reality. People act like it's like people forgot what Jimmy Butler meant to this roster. And I'm not rehashing the Jimmy Butler situation last year, but people forgot what Jimmy Butler meant to this roster and what he did for this franchise. And I'm reading comments where it says, well, they were an 8 seed and they went to the finals. Yeah, you forgot who was on that team. Did you forget who was on that team? Yeah, you forgot. You forgot that Jimmy Butler was a 25-point per game scorer in the playoffs and had two of the most incredible back-to-back performances in Miami Heat history in the first round versus the Milwaukee Bucks. You forget that Jimmy Butler did things that we haven't seen since Dwayne Wade down here. That guy turned into an absolute monster in the playoffs. He was a monster. He would reserve it for the big moment, and that's fine. But acting as if he wasn't the major reason that they performed to that nature in that way is just not fair, and it's kind of selfish to not acknowledge it because Tyler Hero missed a lot of playoff games with Jimmy Butler. He missed a lot of playoff games. You can go back to that season that they lost Game 7 to Boston in Miami, and how many games Tyler Hero missed. You can go through the history books. It's there. It's data. It's in your face. And Tyler Heroes missed a lot of games with Jimmy Butler when it mattered. Bam Adebayo missed games in the finals in the bubble when in Jimmy Butler's first year here. He missed games in the finals. He was not very good in the finals. Jimmy Butler carried them to 2 wins by himself. So if you think Tyler Hero is Jimmy Butler, you're sorely mistaken. If you think Bam is Jimmy Butler, you're sorely mistaken. So this team is void of a star, still doesn't have a go-to scorer when you need a bucket down the stretch. It lacks a point guard. And if you don't have a point guard and a star, guess what? You're a 500 team. So while it's a great trade, I think, for the Miami Heat to get Norman Powell in here for very little. I mean, Kyle Anderson is useless and Kevin Love is washed. And in a second round pick that you didn't even give, it was the Clippers' second round pick. Like, hey, I'd make that deal too. Do I think he makes them marginally better? Sure. But do I think he makes them a contender where people are saying, oh, the East is wide open? The East might be wide open, but it's not wide open for Miami to go from being a 37-win team to a 55-win team. Like, if you think the Norman Powell is the difference between being 37 and 45 and being 55 and 27, you are high. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. What do you think of this trade? How do you think it impacts the Miami Heat and their season for next year? And what do you think that they still need in this roster to be actually a real contender? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. This is Full Court Press, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.